What's up, everybody? You got the Car Man's channel today. We are doing our third, session for Real Talk. This is just me getting on here and having a conversation with you about various subjects that deal with the car industry and how it may or may not affect you. Today, we will be discussing reestablishing your personal credit and some things you can do and maybe some tips. I'm going to try to keep this pretty condensed and just kind of give you the meat that'll help you out a little bit. Meanwhile, this channel is all about education, trying to help you succeed in whatever you're doing. We would appreciate a subscription if you haven't already subscribed. And secondly, anything we're talking about should be listed in our description. And we have a huge Amazon store that we'll also post with all our favorite picks in it, just in case something comes up and I say that's what I'm referring to. All right. So today is establish your credit. So, man, that's kind of a big deal. Establishing credit is a huge deal, and it affects so many things. It affects what kind of deal you get in life, as far as your interest rates on your house, your cars, which is usually your second biggest purchase, and then even on everything. Like, it kind of trickle effects. Like, your credit cards will be higher interest rate. You may be not privy to some of the good financing deals that are available from car manufacturers. There's just so many things that credit affects that is so important in life. And today we're going to talk to you about how to actually establish a little bit of that credit. So the first thing that I would do is as far as the credit people are concerned, when I say credit people, I mean people that are looking at your loans and buying your stuff. They're looking at not so much what you did yesterday, but what are you kind of currently up to? So with that premise, I'm going to do a whole nother episode on getting your credit cleaned up and specifics on how to get it cleaned up so it can really get you in the right direction. But let's assume that you're doing that, but that's not enough. You need to be moving forward. You need to be adding stuff to your little wagon wheel, getting you moving in forward motion. So what's a few options? So there's a lot of options actually to reestablish credit. One easy one is secured credit cards. You can get those pretty simple. The credit bureaus tend to score those really high. They tend to like them. Credit scores tend to soar with a low debt to income on the balance. In other words, I don't know the exact percentage, but it's like a low percentage. I think it's if you owe 20% to 100. So I'm sure somebody that's watching this will correct me or give me the exact number, should I say. And they tend to really like that. They don't really like that you have a credit line open and not being used, nor do they like that you have one that's open that's being overused. They kind of like for you just to be using a little bit, and they like to see that consistent flow of payments. So this is a really, really fast and high way to be able to excel your credit growth. So you could theoretically get you 3 or 4 credit cards and probably increase your credit score by a dramatic amount with just a short period of few months. Now, your overall credit picture won't change that much for bigger items, but it'll be, as you're working on cleaning up the stuff in the back, it'll be heading you forward and getting you into the right direction. So let's talk about the companies that you can actually. I'm pretty sure I just seen someone crawl right past me, but that's okay. We're going to act like that didn't happen. So we're gonna. I'm trying not to laugh. Okay, I gotta laugh because that was truly funny. She's busting out laughing too. I guess it's live. There's nothing you can do. I guess you just didn't want to be in the shot. Okay, I've lost my track now. All right, so establishing credit. I just got to stop. Jen, so I'm in the middle of a video, and you got me busting out laughing here. You're gonna get this together. All right, we're getting it together now. We're getting it together. So we're talking about secured credit cards. A few of them out there that are not real good, but will actually work for the it'll work for the interim, just getting you going. Just look at them; they'll be the really high interest rates. Looks like Connor's coming through there, but the real high interest rate cards, and you can just look at secured credit card right now, and you can Google it anywhere, and they will give you some that you give them $200, they'll give you a $200 credit line, and then they'll charge you fees out the wazoo. And then you get this one little thing reporting on your credit, which ultimately is going to help you. Okay, wait, there. Okay, never mind. I thought we disconnected, but we didn't. All right, so that's one option. Now, the other option I really tend to like that really helps out people is, hey, buddy, you gonna help us on the credit reports today? It's okay. We'll talk about it later. That was Connor, guys. So we're gonna reestablish our credit with these primary companies. I really like the primary companies. I'll give you a few of them, like Bank of America. They've got a really good program, and they did at one point that you could actually buy in, and then they establish you, and then keep upgrading you as you keep qualifying. I'll tell you another one that does that is Capital One. These are major players in the game that you want to get in with, treat them right, and get yourself established. Because they also look at the rinky dink. So, if I was a car buyer looking at your paper and I seen that you only had a couple secured credit cards, that's one thing. But if I see they're with Bank of America and a few other big ones, maybe Wells Fargo, whoever, whatever, and always check with your local bank. These are the people you want to get established with. If you're going to be if your credit's bad enough to where you have to get a secured credit card loan anyway, that's what you got to do. I guess, Jen, are you kind of doing the walk there?
Yeah.
Oh, we sing you. Say hi. Say hi.
Hi, guys. I'm trying to stay out of view.
Okay. So secured credit cards and with the major lenders, that's two first things. Another thing too that can really help you on reestablishing your credit. If you had someone that, say, a friend, a parent, something along that line, that already had established credit, that let's just say they had an old Sears card. Sorry for all the traffic. It's just in the middle of the day and it's 5 o'clock, and I do this every day. That's what happens. But if you had some people that were already established, say with a credit card with JCPenney, Sears, something along that line. So it's kind of a cool thing. What happens is the credit bureau will give you that length of credit that you've been established. Like if they've had it for 10 years and they have an excellent score, that's going to go on you immediately. So if they add you to their account, this is a huge, huge, huge booster. And that really helps the score and will help you get other major credit cards pretty quick. The other thing you can do to establish card, this is a little different, but like your bank or credit loan or credit union, whoever, a lot of times they'll let you take a CD out for a relatively small amount of money, and then let you take a loan against it. So you could take take $1,000 loan out, and then you'd have like your credit union would loan you the money, and then you would pay back your credit union using that as a security. Anyway, all these aspects tend to change the metrics of how all the credit card companies tend to look at you and how they tend to gauge your today. But all right, so into that to the bank. All right, so I talked about cosigners. Now let's talk about car loans. Car loans are really good for getting your credit established quick. The finance companies tend to like it, and the credit scoring tier tends to like it. They like the automobile loans. The more you're established, the better that is. So if you get an auto loan, you are going to be, just make sure you make those payments on time, because it will establish you. Like if you were trying to buy one from Ford and they just seen you paid off one from a finance company for over 4 years, they're going to find a way to put that deal together. You know what I mean? Even if everything else isn't that great, but if you've got good proven car credit, that's a big deal. Outside of that, you've got cosigners that can help you, with loans. That's kind of harder to do because it's such a personal thing with your credit. But that's, if I was trying to go get myself established, this is what I would do. I would get a couple, like I said, a couple of the credit cards secured, whatever, and then just keep on hitting them. Go up every couple months, reapply. And you're going to take some hits because every time you apply on your credit, it takes you a couple points off your bureau. But it doesn't matter. You're already in the tank anyway, so what difference does it make? So go ahead and get everything you can get done and start getting it established. And what you'll find out is as you're working on building this, it'll all build at the same time. It'll be really good, really healthy, and you'll be able to establish yourself pretty quickly. In reverse of this, as far as cleaning up your credit, if you're trying to take stuff off, I use a company called Lexington Law. Send a lot of people to them. they're not, I wouldn't say fast, but within 90 days, usually seeing results. So within 6 months, they've pretty got you pretty well cleaned up as far as most of the stuff. They'll have you pretty cleaned up. Now, if you take 6 months, it seems like a long time, but if you're in a big world, 6 months isn't very long, especially if you started to establish yourself with a couple credit cards and you've got maybe somebody put you on a couple of their credit cards, you got a few things off, it all kind of starts culminating together. But that's how you get your credit established for sure. And as always, don't spend more than you got. That's always the first rule of thumb. And secondly, if you have an old credit card that you know is hitting the tank and you know it's a write-off, don't call them and pay them back, because if you do, it's going to reoccur. Like, I'm just saying, if it's like 5 years old, don't call them back and repay them, because it's going to go right back up on your credit when they update it, because everything has to fall off after a certain amount of time now. So a lot of times you do yourself more harm than good when you call back these old companies and try to renegotiate. So just beware. I'm not saying don't pay them, but I'm kind of saying don't pay them, because at the end of the day, this is about you and your family and taking care of you and your family, and they don't give a crap about your family. So that's just all there is to it. Meanwhile, I guess that'll kind of wrap up my little quick discussion about this today. I wanted to make sure that we had something to talk about that was relevant, and there's a lot of requests on that. I hope that I brought some kind of clarity to that. And anybody's got any ideas, especially like specific companies? If you've got, hey, I use this one, I use that one, from anything from credit repair to the reestablishing with the loans or whatever the case is. I mean, we want to get that information out there as fast as we can to as many people as we can, for sure. All right. I can't think of anything else that might be pertinent or relevant in this subject other than just work hard. I know it sucks, but I mean, there's only one way out, and that's the long way. So just go ahead and roll your sleeves up and start swinging at it and get after it. Any help you need, feel free. I'm always available. We're doing this podcast every day at 5 now. As you see, I've got to work on some of the wife's. Anyway, we won't talk about her right now. But anyway, long story short, I'm here for you 5 o'clock every day. I will see you on the next go round. Nothing but peace and love from RVA. See ya, baby. I'm going to go ahead and kill this stream right now. And tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I shall see you then.